Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Mandy, and I have been doing the same exact look for the past 5 or 6 days, which I don't typically do, but when I get stuck on something that I really like, I get stuck on something I really like. And this is the look that I have really been enjoying. So I thought I would pop on and do this for you, just a random kind of get ready with me video, giving you my thoughts on some of the products that I may not have talked about on camera yet. And of course, I'm gonna start out with my fragrance of the day. And if you caught it on my June favorites video, I mentioned that summer is my least favorite time for fragrances because I am such a deep, dark vanilla, whiskey, rum type of fragrance person. And the tropical, coconutty type fragrances aren't always my jam, right? This one is right up my alley, and I don't care that it's summer. I have been wearing it and loving it. It's a brand new release from Mascara, and it is called Explicit Vanilla. Twisted Lily sent this over to me. I knew that I was gonna like it before I got it, just from the notes alone, but I didn't know I was gonna like it this much. Let me spray it while I tell you the notes. It has Mexican vanilla, dark chocolate, brown sugar, oud, sandalwood, cedarwood, tonka bean, amber, and benzoin. Oh my word, y'all. First of all, I want to mention that I feel like Mascara has taken away their synthetic screechy notes completely from their newer fragrances. I don't know if they've reformulated their old ones. I haven't gone back. I never had that big of an issue with it, but I could sense what people were talking about when they said that it smells kind of synthetic on the opening. I don't get that at all from this one. I don't get that at all from their last release that I love, Amore Cafe. What I get from this is vanilla with the chocolate, a little undertone of the chocolate. It's definitely dark. The benzoin and the tonka bean help like weigh it down. And I do get some of the oud. It is not an offensive oud. I love oud as a note, so maybe I'm not the best one to say, but I don't find it offensive at all. And I know a lot of people are gonna ask how this compares to Amore Cafe, especially if you already have it. To me, Amore Cafe is a little bit sweeter than Explicit Vanilla. I can smell the coffee more, and that like vanilla ice creamy note definitely pops out to make it sweeter. It's not as heavily grounded in the deeper notes as Explicit Vanilla. To me, they're very, very different and worth having both, but I really like Amore Cafe too. But this one I don't find too deep to wear in the summer, probably because I just don't care. And I love these scents anyways, but it's not cloying, it's not suffocating. Gorgeous. If you are a vanilla lover, you have to get your nose on this. It's just so good. All right, now onto the look. Let's hop in and see how I got this face. Okay, let's go ahead and start with Complexion. There is no rhyme or reason as to why I chose these products. Typically, there isn't unless I am doing a foundation review or something where I need to be taking notes and making sure that I try them out with different things. And I didn't intend to do a separate foundation review on the Jones Road Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer. I posted a short about this and an Instagram reel because I love it so much, and I did not intend and I did not expect to love it that much because I haven't been the biggest fan of Jones Road foundation products in the past. This is the shade Beige, which is described as their light medium shade, and I just apply it like I would a foundation. I have tried this with my fingers because I always like to give tinted moisturizers especially a try using it that way because a lot of them do perform better when applied with fingers. I don't find this one really performs any different than when using a brush, so I've just continued to use a brush. This is not a full coverage product. I don't own a tinted moisturizer that is. So I wasn't expecting that, but I also wasn't expecting how phenomenally this wears on the skin. I have on my La Roche-Posay UV Moon 400 today. I have tried it with the new Dr. Idris sunscreen. I've tried it with the number 9, and I have tried it with the Elizabeth Arden City Provage. Is that what it's called? So I've tried it with both mineral, US chemical, and European chemical. And I have loved it with every single one. It is not overly dewy. I had a slight bit of luminosity to my skin before I started, just from skincare, but I don't feel like this adds too much. It is really pretty on the skin. I do a close-up in natural light on that short, so check that out if you want to. But I also showed in that short, so I'm gonna show it here, even though I'm gonna be honest and say I don't feel the need to do this, but it is another way to amp up the coverage only where you need it. And I take one of the face pencils from Jones Road, which I love, and I use these a lot in my kit. And I'm gonna apply it straight to this brush versus swiping it on my skin, because I really don't wanna disrupt that tinted moisturizer. And then even though I have more redness in that reel, there's not much to add coverage to. I'm just gonna stipple it onto my cheeks because that's where the most amount of redness comes, just to amp up that coverage, but not take away from the rest of my face that doesn't need the coverage, because there's no sense in adding product where you don't need it. 10 out of 10, A+. I just really, really enjoy this. Again, I'm in the shade beige. This does not contain any SPF, which I'm fine with. I don't look for SPF to be in my makeup products because I always have a separate one on underneath. Again, no rhyme or reason. I've been mixing these two concealers together lately, the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 3C, and I'm really just putting that right in the corner where my darkness is the worst. So just right there. And then I'm taking my Victoria Beckham. I love the formula of this concealer, but the one that I got in LM1 is just a little bit dark. So I kind of just put a little bit more of that to mix the two together, and I've really been liking how those two have been wearing together. And sometimes I use a sponge, sometimes I use a brush. Did I use this combination on camera already? That's how long I've been using it. I can't remember yesterday, y'all. I really can't. Like, it's honestly a little concerning. But if I've used it already, then you've seen how it works, and you can see that I'm still using it. A new product that I have not shown yet, because I just recently got it, is the brand new Natasha Denona. I think this is called, is it like the High Glam Liquid Bronzer? I don't know. Y'all have everything linked. And I got some new Fude brushes from FudeBobo.com. She sent over a few, and I want to highlight as many as I can in this video. This one right here is a Koyudo 5-sided face brush, Saikoho by Yoshiki. And it is just a small, a little bit denser face brush. And I'm going to use this with the Natasha Denona. I have the shade Foxy in this, and I just, like, half a pump is more than enough for my face. And I just dot it all on my forehead, and then use this brush, which is a Fude brush, so you're gonna know it is extremely soft and easy to use. And then you can just pick it up with that brush and apply it straight to the face. And I have been I've talked about this quite a bit, but I have been placing my cream bronzer definitely always on the temples, but way higher than normal, almost like where I would place a blush. It's just overnight, I feel like my face is kind of dropped, so I need to change my makeup a little bit and lift everything else that I put on my skin to give the illusion of a lifted face. So I really don't want anything low at all. And I still have half the amount. Honestly, I probably should just use a little bit right here on the little gobbler. Make that sink back in. And I still have some left over. So very, very concentrated. You don't need much of that at all. I'm going to let those liquid products sink in. I'm going to move to the eyes. I got the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Silk Liquid Eyeshadow. I purchased the shade Phoebe. There was another one that I really wanted, but it was out of stock. But these are really good. I hadn't tried them before. I do have one of the shimmer ones. It starts with an A. Is it Anastasia? I can't remember. I just know it's a girl's name and it starts with an A. And it's okay, but I think I prefer the matte ones. And this is very, very, very subtle. So if you are someone who doesn't like a lot of eyeshadow at all, this color and this formula is definitely a recommendation. It stays all day. I don't have any problems with it fading off or creasing. And I just think it's a really subtle, nice shade. Now I'm going to use this as my lid shade, but you can definitely top it if you want to. It can be more like a base. But the only other thing I'm going to do, well, I'm going to do something a little bit later on to kind of amp up the eyes. But the only other thing I'm doing right now is eyeliner. And I'm using my MAC Eye Kohl in the shade Minted, just for a little pop of green. You can use Victoria Beckham Olive. You can use the Chanel which one? I have the Chanel and I can't remember the name of it. This one, Minted, is the brightest pop of green out of all three of those. So if you want something to really pop, this is a good option. And other than that, next step that you'll see is I'm finishing off my face makeup. This is all I've been doing for the eyes. I will change up the eyeliner. It's typically either blue or green, like the jeans from Victoria Beckham, but also terracotta, cinnamon, you know, my favorites. Any of those look good with this, but you can't get a simpler eye look. I'm gonna set my under eyes with my Laura Mercier in soft pink and the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder Brush. I have been loving this shade and I've been loving this brush. Literally tap that onto the under eye. You need the very smallest amount. Now I'm gonna do my two-step powder. I have really only been using my Fit Glow in the middle of my face lately because it's so hot and humid outside, and this one is by far the one that holds my shine at bay the best. And I have been using the G Beauty blush brush, but I realized when I tried to link this in one of my last videos, this must be one of their older brushes that they don't carry anymore because I can't find it. And it makes sense because I got this as a gift with purchase when I bought from them one time. So they were probably just trying to get rid of stock. But any like flat type of brush would work because I really just like to press the powder in. I mean, you can obviously use a powder puff too, but this is what I've been reaching for the most. And then, believe it or not, one of the powders that I find looks the best with this tinted moisturizer, even though I haven't really tried one that doesn't look good, is the Sicily Loose Powder in Irisee. I think it's, I don't know, IRISEE. And the reason I say surprisingly is because this does have a little bit of a sheen to it, but it also slightly mattifies the face. It's really strange. I don't have another powder in my collection that has a visible sheen like this one does when you look at the, you know, the powder in the pot, but then also mattifies and stays. Pretty much the perfect finish all day. So A+ for that. Those are the two powders that I like the most with this, but again, I haven't tried anything that I don't like. Now, I don't feel like I need any more bronzer on my cheeks. Y'all know I love an excessively bronzed forehead, but this is what I have been using lately, and it is the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in the shade Medium Dark. You can see how this is like almost gone. But I have just been taking this new Chikuhodo CH2 brush, picking up that powder and then just kind of pressing it in on top of where I put that Natasha Denona, and it is quite literally skin. I mean, which makes sense. This is meant to be like more of a setting powder or a finishing powder than a bronzer, but the shade itself just looks so good as a bronzer if you have my skin tone. And I don't add any more to the cheeks, but it does the job of making my forehead a little bit more bronze. This is the blush that I cannot stop using. I told myself, Mandy, A, stop with the cream blushes for a little bit because you have just been wearing those out. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just have so many that I don't use. And I was like, you need to pick out something that you have not worn in a long time and give it some love. And that would be this blush from Clinique. This is the Blushing Blush Powder Blush. Wow. In the shade 107 Sunset Glow. I and I just washed my brushes last night, so it's not gonna apply it like I like. I hate clean brushes. I want them to have at least 2 days use before they really start working like I want them to. But it is so, so pretty. I have not worn a highlighter in a week. Which y'all are like, oh no, I get it, y'all. This is a first world video. And all the things I talk about are first world problems. And that's one of them. And it's not even a problem. I just like how the finish of this blush with the finish of the tinted moisturizer and the powder, especially once I buff everything out with my Hourglass. I don't feel like I need an extra highlight. It's a pretty enough finish on its own. And honestly, behind these lights in the freaking 100-degree weather here, I'm gonna be sweating enough by the end of this video to show my natural highlight. Now, the only other thing I do with this blush is take a little bit, this is a MAC 224. This is the old MAC 224, so it's natural hair, not synthetic. And I just pick up a little bit and run it through my crease. Just to bring that Phoebe shade a little bit higher, add a little bit more dimension, but while also tying in my eyes with my face. And sometimes I have been using color under my eyes and sometimes I haven't. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that blush under my eyes as well. I totally meant to use this for powder. This is the Yoshiki large version of the one that I used for bronzer. I'm gonna link both of them down below. For lips, before I do mascara, I have been loving the Vive 90. I use this in my full face of Vive, which has gotten hardly any views. And it's so unfortunate because it's one of my favorite makeup looks that I've done in a while. And this lipstick is oh so pretty. It's the satin lipstick. Love it a lot more than the matte formula from Vive. And in that video, I topped it with a clear gloss from City Beauty, and I'm gonna use the Rose Naif from Chanel to top it today. Because despite it being satin, I'd still need a gloss. And for mascara, I am still using my Vive mascara. I love this stuff. It gives fluffy, elevated lashes, and it wears so well. And there we have it, my full face of highly repeated products. This is basically what my face has looked like for the past 5 or 6 days. I don't really have any desire to use anything else, so I will probably continue this for the foreseeable future. I will have everything listed and linked down below per usual. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.